Alright, so we are asked to solve and find what value of x makes it so that when you plug it here and add it when you plug it in here, you get the same value as plugging it in here. And so what you always want to do first is factor. Okay? And so I have x minus 1. That doesn't factor. And then x squared plus 3x plus 2. What two numbers multiply to 2 and add to 3? It's 2 and 1, right? So it's x plus 2, x plus 1. Does anything cancel? Nope. These don't cancel, do they? Now here, does anything cancel or anything factor? Nope. And here, does anything cancel, anything factor? No. Now you may remember from yesterday that we want to get rid of the fractions. And so what am I going to multiply by? X plus 1. Okay, as soon as I put x plus 1 here, I'm going to put this in parentheses to remember that they were together. And I can't just put x plus 1 there, I have to put it on each term. Okay? So x plus 1, x plus 1. Anything cancel? The x plus 1s, right? And then these x plus 1s. And I should put that in parentheses, okay? What else am I going to multiply by? X plus 2 on all of them, right? And now the x plus 2's cancel. And then you write down what's left over. What's left over here, those canceled and those canceled, so it's just x minus 1. You don't need parentheses because there's nothing in front or anything with it. And then add on 2x, x plus 1. And maybe you go ahead and distribute. I'm just going to write it down like this. Okay? And then equals, and over here you have x minus 1, x plus 2. Now from here, it's an algebra 3 problem. Right? And so what am I going to do? Yeah, but I have parentheses, right? So we want to get rid of those parentheses by distributing. So it's 2x squared plus 2x. Equals, and how do you multiply a binomial times a binomial? Do you remember? Don't you go x times x, x times 2, negative 1 times x, and negative 1 times 2 is minus 2. Now all the parentheses are gone, right? Now let's look at the left side. Is there anything that combines over here on this side of the equal sign? 2x and x, right? So if I put it in the standard form, it'd be 2x squared plus 3x minus 1. X plus 2x is 3x. And then on this side, in blue, what combines? 2x minus 1x is 1x, right? Oops. That should be a minus 2, correct? I almost put 2 equal signs. Now you have a quadratic equal to a quadratic. How do you solve that? You could. Okay. But in order to use the quadratic formula, remember everything has to be one side. You have to put it in standard form. So we need to move the x squared over, the 1x over, and the negative 2 over. So I'm going to subtract x squared from both sides. So those will cancel. I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides, cancel. And I'm going to add 2 to both sides, so those cancel. 2x squared minus 1x squared is just x squared. 3x minus 1x is 2x. And negative 1 plus 2 is 1 equals 0. And then, Asada, you could use the quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And a would be 1, b would be 2, c would be 1. You could also just graph, see where it crosses dx. Or, even easier, factor, right? How does this factor? Close. We need two numbers that multiply to 1, but add to 2. 1 and 1, right? And so the solution would be, if it was x squared minus 1. So you're thinking of, that factors into x plus 1, x minus 1, right? No, would factor into this, okay? All right, so what is the solution of x plus 1? X equals negative 1, right? Twice. So it's x equals negative 1, multiplicity of 2. But wait, what else do you have to do? You remember? So yesterday, we learned, right, you have to plug it back in because it could be, remember the word? I forgot I didn't write it down in this book. But it could be, you don't remember the fancy word? Extraneous, right? Extraneous? That means that it doesn't work in the original equation. Okay? Now, before I plug it in, notice if I plug it in here, x plus 1, if I plug negative 1 in there, negative 1 plus 1 is 0, and 0 times anything is 0, and you can't divide by 0. So it can't be negative 1 because then you would be dividing by 0. And so in this case, without even plugging it in, I would say x equals negative 1 is extraneous. So it's an extra solution, okay? It's not really a solution. So technically there is no solution to this.